If you're tired of the cycle of being in conflict in your relationships, this video is for you. Hey everyone, if you've seen my videos before, welcome back. If you are new to seeing my videos, my name is Ross and I'm an intuitive counselor. Today's video is a topic that I really love to share, and it's called the drama triangle. And this will likely be part one of perhaps 2 or 3 different videos because it's just a lot to share. And so today I just wanted to give an overview of what the drama triangle is and kind of set up the stage and talk a little bit about it. And then in the next video, we'll get into some more of the intricacies of it. So what is the drama triangle? I'm actually just going to go ahead and share my screen here. Excellent. So on the screen, you're seeing an image of this triangle, and the triangle is called the drama triangle. And on the top left corner, you see a label called persecutor. On the right, you see rescuer, and in the bottom, you see victim. And then there's an image at the bottom of a partnership that is clearly having some conflict and some stress. And usually that is the byproduct of this drama triangle. So even just seeing that image may make you relate to this dynamic. And so this dynamic is a cycle that plays out likely over and over again in your relationships. And the thing is that we become quite unconscious to it, and we become quite accepting of it. And this cycle is really destructive. It takes a lot of energy. It causes a lot of emotional energy to be released. And ultimately, it keeps us from being closer in our connections, which is an interesting thing to consider, because ultimately we all want to be close in our connections. And so this isn't necessarily a dynamic that we are wanting to perpetuate, but it is a dynamic that is habitually repeated. And that's the key here, is that it's a habit. And, you know, as you might be aware, the way to break a habit is to become aware of the dynamic. So let's quickly look at each role. The first role at the top left is persecutor. And persecutor energy is definitely this energy of like pointing fingers. It's like, you did this wrong. You didn't unload the dishwasher like you said you were going to. You didn't pick up so-and-so from school. You didn't wash my car like you said you were going to. You didn't do the laundry. So it's this like very pointed energy. And that pointed energy, we're just going to go down to the victim. That pointed energy is what creates the victim role. Now, I got to say, I don't love the victim role, but it really does embody what this is about and the energy that is created in this dynamic. So I've kept it the same. But victim, I think, again, it's like being on the receiving end of that pointed energy. In other words, we are made to be wrong, and we are made to be less than. And that's where this is, it's transactional, right? There's a one up and a one down. So it's, in other words, if I'm the persecutor, you need to be the victim. And what often happens in this dynamic is that eventually the victim starts to fight back, and the victim does what they can do to make the persecutor the victim. And so there's a switching of roles that happens. And then sometimes one or both parties at times will start to feel guilty, or they don't feel good about what's happened. And then they switch into the rescuer role, which is kind of a reversal, trying to reverse the energies of what's occurred. In other words, perhaps placating or saving the other person after having been in that persecutor. So it's like, you didn't do the dishes. Oh, but I know you had a hard day. Something like that. And as you can imagine, when we play in this triangle, we get stuck here. We repeat it over and over again, and we habitually stay in these roles. And they're very uncomfortable. They're not comfortable. They create, as the triangle suggests, drama. And the thing about that is though, if this is the cycle that we grew up in, if this is the cycle that we witnessed, on some level, it feels normal. And it feels like something that we, like almost like a comfortable sweater. It's like we don't know any different. And so a question I often like to ask when working with this triangle and sharing it with others is like, how does it change? And I'm not going to answer that question in this video. I just leave that with you. It's like, I mean, how does this dynamic change? In other words, how do we get out of the triangle? How do we shift this so that it doesn't continue? And that is the question. And it's a very powerful question because we ultimately, on some level, if you're watching this video this far, chances are you don't want to be playing this dynamic anymore. You don't want to be in the drama triangle. And that is the beginning of change, is that awareness that something needs to change. So I just want to say a couple more things about this triangle. And I think, it's definitely about communicating in relationship, but it's often helpful to look at it through a different lens in order to understand it. And so I want to kind of frame this in three ways, actually. So this triangle can occur, primarily it occurs in our relationship. So there's an external way of it showing up in our lives. So externally, we engage in this dynamic in our partnerships and in our relationships. And by the way, it can be any relationship. It can be the relationship with the person you have at the coffee shop or the laundromat, whatever. It's like whoever you engage with, this dynamic can play out. And the second one, and so the second and third one are both ways of playing this dynamic internally. And so the first one is that we play this dynamic with ourselves. So our inner critic uses these three ways of being to stay in this drama triangle. And that's important to note. So if we are having this dynamic play out internally, and we're talking to ourselves in this way and in these roles, then that's something that we've been the recipient of. We've had that experience. And so that's what we're repeating. So the first level of working with this is truly becoming aware of that internal dialogue where we're playing the drama triangle out with ourselves. The second way of doing this internally is that we will often put someone else into this triangle, and we will play this triangle out in our head. And we are playing out this cycle with someone who has no idea they're even in the drama triangle with you. So in other words, someone does something to upset you, and in your mind, you are playing out this cycle. You are playing out the roles of this and playing the persecutor and putting that other person in the victim role, and then maybe feeling bad about it. And so this dynamic is happening inside of you, and the other person might never be aware that this is happening if you don't outwardly vocalize it. So those are kind of the three ways that I see this triangle as showing up in our lives. And ultimately, as I think you've already gotten, this can be destructive, and it can be harmful and hurtful and causes a lot of pain. So I'm going to leave it there for this video, and I will say more in the next video. And I hope that you've got some benefit from this, and that in between this video and the next one, that you can kind of ponder this and bring some awareness to where this is showing up in your life and how long it's showed up in your life and where. And so, yeah, I'll leave it there. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you want to follow my channel and get notifications, please subscribe. And if you feel anybody would benefit from this video, go ahead and share it. If you want to learn more about my offerings and what it is that I do as an intuitive counselor, you can visit my website, and the address is in the video description. Thanks so much for watching, and sending you unconditional love, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.